billion. That despite Omicron. The stock also hit an all-time high, even as RevPAR still down 19% from 2019. I think this company is a great proxy for international travel. I mean, they've got 1.5 million rooms in 139 countries. Now, the news has the so-called reopening trade jumping again. But what's the true state of travel? Joining me now, travel expert and an analyst, Mark Murphy. Mark, I got to tell you, first of all, I interviewed you first on the news channel, and I've been waiting for a chance to bring you on the business side. So thanks a lot. Let's talk about these Omicron trends. They're coming down really fast, but TSA numbers still trailing 2019 and 2020. So what's happening?
Well, because of 2020, we didn't have this craziness yet, right? So that's why it's going to trail 2020. It's still undershooting 2019 as well. I think you're going to see air travel pick up. I think you're seeing the optimism with all of these places, and I think it's driven by politics. I think everyone knows that all of these sudden reopenings, sudden dropping of mandates, sudden dropping of vaccine passports, that's going to get people traveling. Even guys like me who wouldn't go to a country that had a vaccine passport, I refused to go in the past. That's now changing with a lot of these countries. And as more and more countries follow this, and trust me, with what's going on in Canada, they're all going to be following this unless they're actual dictators and despots. You're going to see this reopening trade really accelerate. If you saw the Sabre earnings, that's the reservation system for the airline ticketing, that had a huge pop, 24% increase today based on their earnings and their optimism. The drag is going to be for like a Marriott or for a Sabre is going to be business travel, because it's going to take longer for business travel to come back versus leisure, and that's what we're seeing right now. Although
I got a feeling they're trying to get them in the office, maybe travel will be a bonus for some folks. You know, the market, though, of course, now on the other end right now, they do like these hotel stocks, all right? Not the airlines, but they like the hotel stocks. And another part of the airline story I wanted to ask you about, the heating fuel. I mean, it's got to be through the roof right now for them.
You know, the market, though, of course, now on the other end.
Yeah, it's their number one cost. And when oil goes to $90+ a barrel, that's a massive hit unless those airlines are hedged. So if you think of investing in an airline, see if they're hedged against the price of fuel. And if they have done that successfully, they're going to have a windfall right now while their competitors are getting killed on their bottom lines because of that increased cost. That's going to be the key thing to look at. As far as the hotel stocks that you just mentioned, I would be cautious on them because some of them, like Marriott, I think are ahead of themselves right now. And I think fair value is probably $25 to $30 less per share with Marriott today based on how they've run in the past under normal conditions. And I think I see that in the cruise lines. I see that with a lot of travel stocks. It takes one incident, and those stocks, depending on which category they're in, can have a massive downturn.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this segment, because there have been so many false starts, right? The reopening trade, and then that's a couple of weeks later. Never mind. The inflation part of this, though. The travel industry, what are they saying about this? Because if obviously on one side, Mark, you've got YOLO and FOMO, but they've got to overcome, oh no, sticker shock. I mean, are people going to be willing to pay higher prices?
Well, so it's not so much the higher prices of travel, because as more and more inventory comes on, that's going to stabilize. Right now, there are certain places that are in massive demand, like Florida, Mexico, certain places in the Caribbean that don't have these passports and other things. Dominican Republic, they're all booming and they're getting decent rates. The problem you have is looking at the rest of it and saying, when's that going to catch up in terms of the inventory being available and the access? That's going to level prices out. What's going to kill the individual traveling public, especially the middle class, is this $3,000 to $4,000 loss of discretionary income this year based on inflation. So it's the spending power and the discretionary dollars which are going to be a real hit for that mid-market traveler. And that's why you're seeing things like the RV business booming, camping, things like that, Camping World stock. You know, those businesses have done great over the last 2 years. I don't think that trend's going to stop. You're also seeing the vacation ownership business booming because, again, people are tending to travel closer to home and do more frequent trips, especially when these things open up. And that's going to continue.
Mark, you lived up to the hype. I told him in a meeting you were the man. You did it. Thank you very much. Talk to you again real soon. All right, folks. I want to bring it now from Strategic Wealth Partners, our man Luke Lloyd. Now, Luke, I know you like the reopening trade, but from a different perspective than others have talked about. What do you
road, not in my office today.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up Claman here. She's on in about 10 minutes. I'll get it all set up.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear the interview.
Well, like I said, I appreciate it because I am driving on the road today.
A little bit of CV pain. Anybody managed to grab any Virgin Galactic a couple weeks ago when I was talking about it? Nice.
No.
AMC's popping right now too.
I see that. That's exciting, guys.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now?
1914, still going up, still killing it.
Nice.
Okay, let me cue the video.
Looks like I'm having issues connecting or getting swing up here.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to speak and then didn't say nothing.
Yeah, it's like kind of stuck in the connection or connecting mode.
Claman countdown. What's going on here? Fox business.
Hey guys, if you could tweet out the call, that would be awesome.
I got it loaded up. As far as I know, it just needs to, once it starts, it starts. So testing this YouTube TV thing out.
Do we know if he's going to be talking at 3 or is it 3:30?
Just said 3 o'clock for the Claman countdown. So if it's not anything important or Gary Gensler on there specifically, we can just chit chat until he pops on.
Sounds good.
It's interesting because YouTube TV automatically takes out the video when you're trying to stream, which is cool. You can still hear, but. Hello, Tara.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going freaking great.
It's going.
Awesome.
AC is ripping.
I saw that. That's crazy.
Yay.
Going insane. It's awesome.
Let's fucking go.
Jen, I cannot get used to you saying bad words. Like, I don't know.
I honestly, I know. I seem like, I mean, I am a good mom. I do kind of swear a lot.
Has nothing to do with the mom thing. Hey, you can be a mom and say bad words. You can be a badass. Moms come in all different shapes and sizes. Like, let's be honest. That has nothing to do with it. It's just you're so sweet. Like you are just so sweet. So I'm not used to it. That's all.
Sweet person with a cussing problem.
She's
I guess I don't know.
A sailor's
what was
mouth.
funny was when Anya was like 1.5, you know, because I say shit a lot, and then she started saying shit, and I was like, oh shit, and she, you know, so she, yeah. It's like and then I fuck, and then now she's saying that. It's like great.
Oh my god,
I have a bad mouth, man.
That's hilarious. Please tell me this is recorded.
Oh,
it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shit, fuck. Okay. Sorry if there's kids listening. I'm really sorry.
Jen, I freaking love you. But you know what's funny? When you say it, you don't you say it and just it's there, but it's not emphasized really strongly. So like some people, I don't know, when my mom cusses, like she really emphasizes the bad words. And I'm like Mom, like what's wrong with you? And she'll do it
I'm like
in public.
Fuck you.
She'll do it in public and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know this lady. But most people think we're sisters anyway, so like they're like, oh, your sister's crazy. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, Mom. And my mom's like, that's right.
Look like sisters. That's so funny. You guys are probably kind of not really close in age. My mom's like 20 years older than me, so
yeah, my mom was 19 when she got pregnant, and I think 20 when she had me. So
yeah, it was the same with my mom. She was about 20. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy growing up, you know, kids in high school, like, you know, thought my mom was like hot and thought like she was like my older sister. And that always like bugged me. I was like, no, don't say the word no. Yep. Please don't say that. That's my mother. Like, you can't say that.
Yep. Friends of mine had a crush on my mom. I'm like, oh, no, this is not good. Like, no, please, no.
Yeah, my mom is hot, you know.
And
But
she's a Leo, so
what
it
about
makes it even harder because she's like so about that. Like, she's like, oh, yeah, like, I know. My mom is gorgeous.
Moms
Like,
need love too.
oh, yeah, my mom's gorgeous and she knows it. She's she's got the Leo thing going on, but she's one of the more humble Leos that I know. I have so many Leos in my family and they are freaking, hi, Leo. As Leo.
That's hilarious. Speaking of Leo,
I'm the fishes. Do I get along with Leos? I don't. How does that work?
What, you're a Pisces?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure. Hold on, let me
Oh,
look.
thanks. Just tell her so. What's up?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, you want to tell my mom what's up? Oh my God, Spence, I'm gonna kill you. Jen, you're a Cancer. I should have known.
I am July 4th is my birthday.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, 4th of July.
Awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Born right on the fireworks, downtown Grand Rapids.
We're gonna have to have a birthday party for you.
Cool. That's
I
why
love
when
it.
Jen,
I love watching fireworks every year on my birthday. I do.
Your mom was out trying to enjoy fireworks, and then all of a sudden,
Really quick, let me
Jen.
just remind everybody. Yes, Jen is the firework. Okay, guys. Can you all please tweet out the call? Everybody, if you haven't done so already, I'm going to do that too really quick. But that way people see it and can get in here and listen to Gary Gensler.
Baby, you're a firework.
Katy Perry, yes. I'm not even gonna try and sing. You guys, I can't sing. I won't even go there. People will like leave the room if I start singing. So I'm not gonna do that. It's true. Don't
Why did
even
we lose
ask that.
300 people? Jen was singing a song.
Right. Jen started singing a song and it just sounded horrible, so we had to go.
I want to thank everybody for coming into the call last night. I haven't had such a good time just like vibing and chilling in a while. That was really fun.
That was a ton of fun. I loved it. It was great. It's great talking to you guys, and it was a great chat overall. I think it was one of our best ones yet.
We got like 4 minutes. If you guys didn't know, you can YouTube Gary Gensler's MIT blockchain lessons that he did, the speaking he did for the MIT classes. It's really interesting. I watched the first one today. It's like very monotone. It's Gensler, I mean, but he talks about a lot of stuff that's very important from the start of crypto all the way through why blockchain even exists. And I think it's even more important because of what we talked about last night with Clarence about the BSTX approvals coming up this week, which I still think the market's reacting to. Did you read that white paper, Jen?
Yeah, he I think what he was referring to, it was pinned on his profile. So I did take a look at it.
Very, very good paper. That was a good read. It's a perfect starting point for people that don't understand what's going on with the BSTX, and it breaks down a little bit of the ownership and the purposes of it. The blockchain exchanges are going to allow really small companies that don't have enough capital to get listed to reach out to us as investors, of whom we would never be able to invest in private companies like that before the crowd fundraising, the crowdsourcing they approved. This is just going to make it extremely easy. So I'm pretty excited for it. AMC's up 7.5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt somebody?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say that, I was really happy that Clarence came in the room last night. It was good talking to him. We all had really good questions, and I really hope that he comes into, future space calls with us. He's a very knowledgeable guy.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I was grilling him a little bit, but I don't think Mark realizes why I kind of have to do that, because there's this thing that he just can't get with how much we've all experienced here and how difficult it is to like just all of a sudden meet someone on here and be like, oh yeah, you're so trustworthy. Like, oh, you work for a fund. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, and then if Mark is trying to put on his, I'm like, Mark, you can do so many things. You're an amazing person. love you, buddy, but you're not a salesman. Like, do not try to sell us on anything. But it felt like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting these like weird vibes. And Mark told me, he's like, I don't know who that guy is, but I know that he's aware because he's DM'd Mark about BSTX and how he gets it. Like, he's aware of how it works. So I was like, okay, understood. But in the call, it almost came off as though like they like knew each other or something.
You guys want me to start the Claman countdown or just wait for Gensler to get on?
We could do it either way. I just tagged you in something since, so I don't know if you can take a look at that. Someone who was trying to come into the call, and then yeah, whenever we could listen to it. I don't really care to listen to Liz Claman, to be honest, but if you all want to.
I'm more personally interested in hearing what Gary Gensler has to say, but I mean, you can always listen to like maybe a couple minutes of it and, then talk. And then, once when Gary Gensler gets on, we can, listen to that.
I'll bring it up muted and we can just talk until I see the Gen get his face on the TV thingy.
Okay.
My boy Gary, he's going to be on in a little bit. He's going to let everybody know the shorts are fucked. And
Exactly.
we're heading to nuts. So $20 inbound, great day today. I hope they talk about something good.
I trust Buzz Lightyear. I'm just saying.
I mean, we can watch it anytime too because it's live and it'll be recorded. So.
What do you mean?
Well, I got YouTube TV, so I can roll back to when the show plays, or however you guys want to do it.
So yeah, like Liz Claman tweeted something earlier today saying that they would be she would be asking questions about the timing on Bitcoin or spot Bitcoin, ETF approvals, PFOF, ban plans, Ripple, stuff like that. That's like pretty much all it said. So I guess we'll see.
I'm just super happy with this price action today. Like, so nice to get some of my money back.
Definitely. I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm just super happy with this price action today.
I was gonna say, yeah, if he gets into the whole payment.
So nice to get some of my money back.
And like gives us some more tidbits
Definitely.
about that. I think it's gonna be really, really good.
I guess we'll see.
I just want to remind everyone.
Yeah, if he gets into the whole,
If you weren't
sorry,
go
ahead.
said it before.
I
If
was
you
gonna say,
haven't
yeah,
done
if he
so,
gets
if
into
you
the
can,
whole
please do
payment
tweet out the call just so people see it,
gives us
so they can
some
hear
more
Gary
tidbits about that.
Gensler
I think
live.
it's gonna be
I'm really interested to
good.
see if it's any.
I just want to remind everyone one more time really quick, if you weren't in here when I said it before, if you haven't done so, if you can, please do tweet out the call just so people see it, so they can hear
right now
Gary Gensler live.
Producer
I'm really
prices.
interested to
I'll
see
just,
if it's any,
unmute the video.
different than the interviews he's used to and always doing on, what is
It's
it,
up to you. We can listen to the
CNBC?
whole thing if you guys want.
What do they see that's giving them so much risk on
We can, if it's boring, we'll just.
So I think it's a
I'll just,
twofold scenario.
Just
today.
unmute and screen.
Yeah,
share.
let's just listen
I
to
think
it. Oh,
because oil futures
wait,
are
you mean when he
down,
gets
people are
on?
getting a little bit more confidence to go back in the market. Again, oil is a major
I
contributor
mean, yeah, we
to
can. We
inflation,
can. If it's
and
boring,
that
we'll
is
just,
part of the reason why we've been seeing
I don't know,
the
wave at you or
PPI and
something.
CPI numbers
Just
rising
unmute
so
and
high
scream at
because
me.
basically everything has to be
Yeah, no
shipped.
problem. We'll do that.
Oil
I'll
goes
start
into
swearing.
many different products.
Yair wanted to say
It's a
something. I
major,
don't know.
whether it's direct or
Oh, yeah.
indirect, it's a major contributor to inflation. The other thing is, I think you're seeing a bit of short covering today. Following the declines that we've had, short sellers are taking profits here, especially on that news this morning about the pullbacks on the border of the Ukraine by Russian troops. And I think they got a little nervous here and they said, you know what, we made some money, let's cover here and we'll come back tomorrow and see what happens.
Yeah, coming into the session that we should tell people.
I saw a video today of the news where there was people handing out roses to police officers for Valentine's Day. So
Yeah, I was talking about Paul, like what's going on in Canada and crypto and Bitcoin and that type of stuff.
It was really low, so I didn't quite hear what you said. Could you repeat it, please?
Yeah, it was basically like, can you just tell us like about the situation in Canada? Like, I know there's like a huge push with crypto now, mainly after the whole GoFundMe thing that happened with the truckers.
Well, okay, so I'm not I don't buy Bitcoin or any crypto, so I'm not a great understander of it, but I think I understand what you're talking about. So the emergency act that they put in, um, so it used to be called the Wars Measures Act, but it was changed to Emergency Act, and it gives the government, or it actually gives police extra powers now that they didn't have before, so they can act on um, basically removing the protesters, hopefully peacefully. I mean, nobody wants it to turn into anything bad. They now will, and it's only for 30 days, and I do believe they'll put it back, but I really hope they go after some other money launderers that are happening in Canada. And some of the people here who follow me knows what I'm talking about. So what they did is they allowed banks to seize bank accounts of anyone who's part of the protest. Um, the Go Send Me, or the whatever that's called, they've
GoFundMe?
well, GoFundMe, and the other one, Go Send Me Go, whatever, the other one that's a Christian organization. They seized all their funds, and they found out actually who was the contributor to that. Um, so now they don't need court orders to do this for the next 30 days. So basically, they are going to seize people's funds. If the truckers don't leave, well, not only will they tow their trucks out, but they will pull all their insurances and their licenses, so they won't be able to work. I'm trying to remember because I did a list for Rhonda. She might be in the call. Let's see. There's a few things there, but basically they increase. So what they did is the police only had so many powers that they could do, and now they basically just opened up the floodgates and allowed them to enact more powers to remove people from the area. They designated certain areas like borders, airports, and I'm going to tell you the federal buildings for sure, as basically a no protest, no blockade zone. And so if, so they can act removing people without court orders or anything like that. That's just for blockades, not for peaceful protests that are legally. You get a permit to protest and you can be done legally. I know the one blockade protest at the Coots border, I think in Alberta. I retweeted out a video of it. That had been cleared, and the video that was brought out was really cool. The cops and the protesters were hugging and shaking hands as they were dispersing and opening the border up. I felt that was very Canadian like if you watch that. But there's always nasty players in any protest. So that's one of the reasons why you'll come across people on here, and you'll hear people say, "Apes, let's get together. Let's go and march on the SEC or on Wall Street." And most people don't like that because you always get bad actors. And as an example, and I'm only going by the news, some of the protesters, I believe, was on the Ambassador Bridge, but it could have been the I think it's called Coots in Alberta. They see and weapons in Canada, like guns and that, is a contentious issue, and they don't really like having assault weapons or handguns. There are tremendous rules around that type of firearms in Canada. If you ever want to get into it, I can explain that later. But anyways, they found assault rifles, large magazines, these weapons like rapid fire weapons, um, and a lot of them in some of the trucks and vehicles that were at these borders. And the government determined that these people weren't really part of the protesters, but those bad people that tend to show up at protests. So it's scary in some respects when it comes to that. They determined they were planning on doing physical harm to people, and but things are starting to get back to normal, except for in Ottawa, the protest is continuing. The chief of police of Ottawa resigned today, and I'm not sure where it's going to go forward after this. I don't know. I don't really know anyone who lives in Ottawa, but I did come across a couple who had to leave. They couldn't when they were allowed to do all their horns and all that, and that had stopped. They followed the injunction, but I don't know how much that had stopped. But they had to leave because they couldn't sleep at night. Their apartment was just stunk of diesel fumes, and so it was making them physically sick and ill. And so they decided to go on on a little vacation to Northern Ontario. That's how I met them. I live in Northern Ontario, and till this all settles out. Now, these are wonderful things, the freedom, and actually, you don't see a lot of this in Canada. These type of protests, and in a way, um, regardless how you look at this, some people are on one side, some people are on the other. I tend to try to live in the middle in things like this. But one thing is for certain, and I believe this is true, Canadians are starting to wake up to the realities of their country. And, for the longest time, and don't get me wrong, I'm a proud Canadian, but I'm not as proud of my country as it used to be as the more information I find out. And what really turned me, not against my country, but in disgust of how much I disgust, not disgust, but in disgust of my country, if you understand what I mean. It revolves around what's called residential schools. And here we call our native people indigenous community, where I believe you guys call them American Indians. And what is sickening about that, and I'm telling you guys, it breaks my heart, breaks my fucking heart terribly, how my country could have done this to these people. So since 1890 to as late as I believe 1996, the government of Canada, as well as with the Catholic religion, and I think a few others, developed what they
Hey,
call
Paul, I'm so
yes.
sorry. I am not trying to cut you off.
No,
I'm just
that's
curious,
fine.
Spence, we were here waiting for Gary Gensler to speak. Is that going to be a thing or?
It's coming up next. They're on a
Okay,
commercial
I
right
just want
now,
to make
so it's
sure that
probably like
everyone
a
in
couple
here is
minutes.
aware that that's what we're still doing that. It hasn't happened yet. Yair just asked Paul something about the protests up in Canada, so Paul's up speaking about that. But I just want to let people here know so that they don't skedaddle out of here. And if you haven't done so, if you can, please share out the call so that people see it. Thanks, guys. Sorry, Paul. I just want to make sure that people are aware.
No, Tara, that's great. I mean, if anybody wants to talk about that's great. You could tell I was getting emotional over, but to answer your question, I hope I answered your question about what was happening with the protests and the current situation.
Paul, don't feel too bad, man, because every country has a history. And I'll tell you, after I grew up a little bit, after my deployments in Iraq and my fellow soldiers' deployments in Afghanistan, we all came home and went, what the fuck were we doing? So everybody's got a history in their country. It's up to you to make it better going forward now that you know the past. You know what I mean? So don't let it get to you too much, bud.
No,
Yeah.
I totally understand what you say, Spence.
Thank you for your service, by the way, Spence.
Yeah, thanks, Spence. I mean, you've done a lot for your country, and you're doing an awful lot for us, and I really appreciate it, man. You're perfect for these calls, and I please take it the way I mean it. You're a leader of our community, And I think that's a wonderful thing.
We have no leaders. Okay, I'm just saying that for all the people who are thinking it. There are no
Right. We
leaders
have
here,
no leaders. We have no
but
leaders.
really
What
what Spence is he makes it very clear that he's just like us and he's shoulder to shoulder with us. So I
Yeah,
think that in
absolutely.
itself, without being a leader, makes someone a leader. I mean, people look to you for information, come to your calls and all of that. So yeah, I appreciate you too, Spence.
Absolutely. That's what I
Thanks,
mean, Spence.
guys. So
One of us.
It's a
One of
dangerous
us.
thing. It's a dangerous thing to come in here and call someone a leader. People have done it to me, and I'm like, this is a freaking trap. You just trapped me. Like, why would you do that? And then people end up angry. So I'm just letting everyone know Spence doesn't consider himself a leader, which is pretty obvious by the way he acts and
no,
carries himself. So
that's why I don't do TA. I'm not here to tell you guys what to invest in. I just love this troop movement of ours against the enemy is awesome. This is the most credible part of the movement, in my opinion. So if we want, I can
Can I
go
just
ahead.
thank Paul really fast for sharing, because coming from a firsthand count about, from someone who's in Canada and there and has lived and grown up in Canada, like it just really means a lot to come up and share with us. And yeah, I do hear the emotion in your voice. And the thing is from what I've seen, it seems very peaceful. I did even see one clip where someone had shown up with a Confederate
buttons help you take steps to remove problems affecting your credit score.
Exchange Commission is scrutinizing the relationship between the U.S. arm of Binance, that's the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, and two trading firms with ties to Binance's founder, Changpeng Zhao. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the two market maker firms, Sigma Chain and Merit Peak, have been controlled by Zhao, but that those relationships were allegedly not disclosed to investors or customers. This latest news only adds to the very detailed focus the SEC has been giving to the crypto space, and as the multi-trillion-dollar market for digital money continues to grow, investors eagerly await news on how the SEC plans to regulate it. Let's see if we can find out and get some news here. Joining us now on a Fox Business exclusive, SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Welcome, Chair Gensler. We appreciate you being here.
Good to be back with you, Liz.
Look, I know you don't speak to individual cases, but on this breaking news about Binance, can you tell us why something like a crypto exchange not disclosing relationships with market makers is an issue or would be an issue for the SEC?
So let me take it to a little higher level. Most of the activity in this asset class, as you said, $2 trillion, is happening on centralized exchanges or lending platforms. And you saw yesterday we had an announcement that I can speak about with regard to one of the large lending platforms. And why does it matter if 95% of the activity is happening there? What's important is investors get basic investor protection against fraud and manipulation. And as many of the tokens on these platforms may well be securities, that's where the Securities and Exchange Commission comes in.
Well, you're talking about the BlockFi settlement, where BlockFi paying out $100 million for handling or at least putting together, allowing people to park their crypto in an exchange, at least an account for a pretty incredible monthly interest payment. You said that those were unregistered and that they have to register. Is BlockFi now registering? Can you at least give us an update on that?
Well, they entered into a settlement arrangement to do so in a timely way. And importantly, what we found there is that not only was it not complying with what's called the 1933 Act or registration, but also the Investment Company Act of 1940, offering the public returns by pulling those assets and investing those assets, the crypto assets. But we're working with them. We're trying to see if we can get this whole area, these crypto exchanges and lending platforms, inside an investor protection envelope. And then if the public wishes, based upon that, to invest or even to speculate, that's up to the public. But to have the basic protections of protecting against fraud, manipulation, to have disclosure, these are the things that we have in our stock markets, and really important if this technology is going to go anywhere.
Well, I get it, because you want to protect investors, and I truly believe that that's at the heart of what you try and do. But it has been an exponential growth spurt that we have seen. I mean, did you see the Super Bowl, Gary? All of those crypto commercials, they had them calling it the Crypto Bowl.
Well, but just think about this, Liz. In 2005, the advertisements of this Super Bowl were a bunch of mortgage companies like AmeriQuest, which that was right into the 08 crisis. Back in 2000, there were 14 Super Bowl ads about .com companies, many of which went defunct later. So I wouldn't sort of confuse the advertisement with the credibility behind some of this or the viability of these projects.
Well, let me tell you why I'm not. Banks have advertised in the Super Bowl. They've gone under. Certain, drink companies. It's part of sort of the free market, and I understand that this is very much a brand new and nascent investment operation or opportunity for people, but it really feels like it's been a transformational 12 months. I mean, you look at how many people and businesses are choosing to invest in or accept cryptocurrency. So I want to get to the SEC's approval of futures ETFs, Bitcoin futures ETFs. My question to you is this: you've rejected a bunch of offers when it comes to Bitcoin spot ETFs, whether it was Skybridge or all kinds of names. You had Grayscale's application that's being assessed at the moment. You've rejected Wisdom Trees, Fidelity, Krypton. Cite every single time the SEC cites, you need more to know about how they're going to prevent share manipulation, fraud, and lack of liquidity. What could any of these funds that are dying to get their ETF out there say to you that would get you to yes when it comes to preventing manipulation?
Well, again, I don't want to get ahead of any specific project, and it comes in front of our 5-member commission. But generally speaking, what's really important is these underlying markets, Bitcoin and the other markets, the underlying cash markets, are trading on exchanges, and those exchanges, I continue to say, come in, work with the SEC, register under the securities laws. It's probability weighted, but you've got 75 or 500 or thousands of tokens on your platform. It's pretty unlikely none of them are securities. So we did this working with BlockFi, trying to find a path forward and protect the investors at the same time.
But here's where I get confused. If you're comfortable with a futures ETF on Bitcoin, why are you not comfortable with a spot ETF for the underlying security of the futures ETF?
So let me just walk through a little bit. The staff looked at this very closely over a number of years, actually. And Bitcoin futures that you referenced, trading on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. That Chicago Mercantile Exchange has had a regulated market since 2017 by our sibling agency, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, an agency I was once proud to chair. So you should know, I think really well of the CFTC. So that's part of that framework. We don't have that framework for the underlying cash market at this time.
Okay, I want to move on to a lawsuit that the SEC has filed with against Ripple XRP. And again, without commenting on specifics, because I know you don't, what's the SEC's theory on certain elements of the crypto world that are considered securities, which would subject them to the SEC's stricter purview, versus currencies which are not held to that kind of purview?
So it's pretty straightforward, actually, is that in the 1930s, after the collapse of the markets and the public getting defrauded, there was a basic bargain, and Congress wrote with a very broad brush the definition of security. And they included like 32 different terms. And amongst those terms, the conceptual framework was the public investing money, anticipating profits on the efforts of others. And the Supreme Court in the 1940s and multiple times since then have had the same approach. My predecessor, Jay Clayton, said it as well as I could say it, that in looking at these tokens, it's rare to find one that isn't doing that. The public is investing, hoping for a profit based on the efforts of some other group.
Okay, but that's with any investment. There is that caveat emptor, buyer beware element to all of the stock market. What confuses a lot of people, Gary, and if you could really clarify here, is, where do you draw the line, the distinction between what is a security and what is an actual currency? Example A, what Ripple did, selling XRP to build out its underlying blockchain network, no different than example B, Ethereum floating an ICO, a coin offering to help its underlying Ethereum blockchain. There is no difference, a lot of people say.
None. So Liz, you started by saying you weren't going to ask me about specific cases. And so if I can help the audience.
I said example A, example B.
Yeah, but I help the audience know that it's not, I'm not really allowed to talk about specific cases, but it's pretty straightforward. Raise money from the public, as you say. You have a basic bargain of full and fair disclosure and anti-fraud protections, and you register with the government agency called the Securities and Exchange Commission. And that's really what we're trying to do, is help continue with that basic bargain. We're technology neutral. If people want to invest or speculate in this field, then these tokens and, most importantly, the platforms, the trading and lending platforms, come in, register, do it within the law, not trying to skirt the law.
Okay, we've got so much more to talk about. I do want to quickly ask you about payment for order flow. This, of course, was an issue that came to the forefront during the meme stock craze a year ago, January. The question became, is it a conflict of interest? On the one hand, I do get that there are people who look at this situation and say, well, wait a minute, brokers are getting, are getting paid by market makers just so that individual investors can have free commission trades. On the one hand, it is helpful to the market, but is the answer to ban payment for order flow, Gary, or simply solidify disclosures so that investors can make their own decision about whether they want to pay a commission and not deal with a market maker?
So we're looking at the SEC as to how to facilitate and drive greater efficiency in this market so investors get a better deal. Payment for order flow, as you mentioned, is a payment between a broker that a broker receives for your order flow, and there are inherent conflicts of interest there. We're looking at how we can ensure greater competition. When you place a market order in the U.S., a market order at a retail platform, well over 90% of those trades go straight to the dark market, to a wholesaler that bought that order flow rather than competing trade by trade. And that's what we're trying to think through under the authorities we have.
Sounds like there are a lot of open doors that we need to get inside and look more deeply into. Chairman Garrett Gensler, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Please come back.
Thank you so much, Liz. You stay well.
Very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Please come back.
Thank you so much, Liz. You stay well.
Well, he called dark pools out directly. That's awesome.
He totally did. I like that part. Yeah.
Super bullish. I think they're
Thank you very much for
realizing
joining us. We appreciate it. Please come back.
I think he's realizing that we are right and that all our retail buying pressure is getting thrown into dark pools. Finally, or they finally have proof of it. So that's awesome. That was good. I wish she would have talked on it more. I hate that she just focused on crypto stuff that everybody is already very aware of.
Right. I wish they would have talked a little more about the PFOF and, yeah, and about the inherent conflicts of interest there that Gary Gensler was talking about. I don't think they gave that enough time.
You know, you won't have that problem with blockchain exchange.
100%.
If she went on
exactly.
If she went on Charles Payne's show, she would actually, or if Gary Gensler went on Charles Payne's show instead of with Liz Claman, it would be real questions. So until that happens, I'm just not going to be satisfied. I'm not going to give up on that though.
Yeah, I would love to see Gary Gensler on with Charles Payne. So yeah, he asks hard questions, and I mean, Liz did an okay job, but yeah, I guess we'll see.
I
So
don't
hopefully,
understand why the focus was crypto like the entire time. It didn't, I mean, to barely even touch on the stock market stuff at the very, very end was pretty weak sauce.
Yeah, I
more-
agree. The focus
more
has
like
been
in-
mostly on PFOF, period. But you know,
It seemed like she was trying to get a story on one of the lawsuits without trying to say, "Oh, about this lawsuit," because he was like, "Look, you're asking me this example because that's what's happening in the lawsuit. I'm not going to talk on this."
Well, it was like a advertisement for Gary Gensler to tell these crypto people to get registered. You know, that's basically what that was. But he got really giddy when he started talking about dark pools. He literally called it out. He explained it so perfectly too. He said, we get these large sums of orders that go to the dark market and then they're, you know, fought over by these payment for order flow guys, when our freaking orders should go directly to the exchange to be competitive and handled in a way where they can't be front run. And I will say that with the new exchanges coming up, the blockchain exchanges, I think these market makers are starting to get very, very worried. And I think it's good that Gensler keeps talking about it more and more. But Tara's right. If he went on to Charles Payne, I'm sure the first question would be, why are you allowing retail orders to go to the dark pool to be bartered over? It's wild, man. Go ahead, Swing. Yeah, put your hand up, man.
I'm wondering, because I haven't heard from it or read anything on DD from anybody, that there's got to be some sort of conflict or something going on between the powers that be at Fox and Ripple. There's, you know, Charles Gasparino and his producer are so interested in the story, and maybe it's because, maybe on the best side of things, it's because the downflow, how big that would be if it ends up being with the security and that Ethereum ends up at, you know, next in line for a lawsuit and all that type of stuff. Maybe that's all that it is, but it seems to me like it's like maybe there are early investors in it or something. I'm curious. Maybe I need to dig into that, because it's odd to me that they're so focused on this XRP case.
Yeah, I've only dabbled in reading about XRP. There's so many other more important things going on than the XRP thing. I guess if the lawsuit came out and everything was won and nothing was wrong, then XRP could make a run. But why are they focusing everything around it? It's almost like they wanted to use XRP as the scapegoat for just trying to stop crypto from being a thing. You know, it's like Gensler has been talking about this for years. You can watch like his MIT videos and stuff and look at the DTCC's papers on blockchain and crypto and blockchain exchanges. This has been an inevitability. I think it's a battle between the powers that be that want to stay on everything legacy compared to going into the future with crypto and blockchain. I think it's a battle for that, because for Citadel or Melvin or whoever has billions and billions of dollars to completely adjust their operations to play in this new market is very expensive. I think Citadel is doing it. I think they've been doing it. But it's like GM switching to electric vehicles. It costs a lot of money to change your operations up. So
I think maybe it's because Liz Claman and Gasparino have been talking about XRP for a long, long time, since there were lawsuits and trading halted and all of that on XRP. So maybe because she finally got the opportunity to have Gary on her show, it was like some of the old stuff had to be, I don't know. I'm not sure. It just, for me personally, it felt like it wasn't really, didn't need to be the main topic of the entire, like, could have been maybe 50-50, like half the time spent on that. And I don't know. But yeah, it is what it is.
Hey guys, I just invited Clarence Schwab to the call, so hopefully he responds and we'll be able to get him on this call. He's super knowledgeable on blockchain, specifically BSTX exchange. So I don't know. I think it'd be a good idea to get him up here. We'll see.
Disclosed TV was in here listening. Yeah, I don't really, yeah, if Clarence wants to come chill with us, that's cool. I don't really know what else like needs to be talked about until we find out, I guess by Friday, he was saying, if BSTX will be officially approved by the SEC. So I think, you know, once that happens, it'll be really exciting. But yeah, if he wants to, I guess, come in and talk about BSTX. Why does it always go from an AMC call to a BSTX call? And it really doesn't, I don't know what effect it really is going to have on AMC at the end of the day. Unfortunately, unless I guess CEO Adam decides to, you know, go that route, if it's even up to him. I don't really fully understand how it all works.
Yeah.
So maybe Clarence can help clarify some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And that's if he decides to, you know, if he wants to come up or not. So he might not. I don't know. It's worth a shot.
Well, I hope Clarence joins us. I hope everyone's having a good day. It was great to have Clarence on the call last night. I know we had tweeted back and forth a little bit in the past about him joining us, because I think he has a lot of knowledge and can help us and learn more. I thought it was interesting that Gensler chose who to speak to, and he also deflected her original question and basically ran his own agenda about what he wanted to talk about um, in this clip with her. I'd love to see him go on with Charles, but like Tara said, you know, Charles is going to come out with both barrels blazing. So unless Gary's up for that, which doesn't seem to be like he's up for that anytime soon, but I'd really like to see that happen. I'm going to shout out to PJ. I know she's not here, but I'm going to shout out to her anyway, throw PJ some love. So I just came up, and if you're here, if you want to get with me, and then I can share the information that Paula and I were discussing last night about Ottawa and the Emergency Act and all, just let me know.
Thanks, Rhonda. Yeah, I don't know if that was necessarily Gary, you know, keeping things on a certain topic, or more of Liz kind of, you know, asking those questions and leading the conversation in that direction. So I don't know if I necessarily blame Gary, and he didn't really say anything new, because she only asked him that last question about PFOF at the very end of the interview or conversation. So, you know, there wasn't much time to touch on anything new. He said, I tweeted it out, just looking at driving better efficiency, ensure greater competition for placing a market order. Currently, well over 90% of trades going through dark pools. So it's the same old thing, and now it's just talked about as though it's normal. He does, you know, sound like he sees an issue with it, but who knows?
Well, and that's why I keep telling everybody, and everybody here keeps telling everybody, go to a broker that does not have PFOF and buy lit exchange. You guys, I'm still getting people, and it's no offense or nothing. I know people are transferring out, but I'm still getting people messaging me about Robinhood and these brokers that are just the absolute devil. Everybody in the community who's hearing this right now, everybody go talk to one other person in the community and make sure that we're getting away from PFOF brokers, you guys. It's literally everything we're fighting against. We need our buy pressure to go directly to the market, to the lit exchange.
Let's talk about that really quick. Some of the options, one of the main options that I hear about is Fidelity, because you can actually go in and, direct order. You can go right to the exchange and not through PFOF. So what are some others? Obviously, we hate Robinhood. We don't hate you if you use Robinhood. And a lot of people use Robinhood just for the charts, but don't actually buy stock on Robinhood. So some people just like the visual side of Robinhood is what I've heard. So what else, Spence? What are some others?
I think somebody said Moo. I had a list of them. I'm going to make a post and just post what are your favorite non-PFOF brokers, and then we'll come back to that when people load it up. But
guys, just use Interactive Brokers. I've been around the block a few times, and they run a legitimate show. And it may not look as flashy as other stuff, but who really cares? It works. They execute the trades. They have plenty of capital. They're not going to go broke. It's easy to use. That E-Trade, Fidelity. To me, that's
Mark,
all you need.
Wait, you like E-Trade?
I mean, Max has an E-Trade account where he buys American films. It works just fine.
Ew, I don't like E-Trade. Okay, so anyway, we can agree to disagree on that, honey. But as far as the first one that you said, did they take the buy button away?
No.
Are you sure? Interactive Brokers wasn't one of the ones that removed the buy button?
I wasn't involved in anything then. I don't know, but I don't think they did. Maybe they did. I don't know, but I
don't know either.
I think
E-Trade
did. I think E-Trade did. I think when all that started, there was a bunch of lawsuits going around, and E-Trade was part of it, and along with Robinhood and that. But Spence, to what you're asking, and maybe what people should do is actually contact their broker and ask them that question, and then maybe put together a list of all the brokers that are POF, and then people can make, and ones that don't, or there's an option out or something like that, and then that would help people.
Yeah, PFOF.
I've got a post up, and there's a lot of people that have already posted about non-PFOF brokers, but I think it's better to revisit it, and we'll go through them individually to make sure, because there's people on like Reddit that are posting brokers that they say aren't, that are. So, but I know Fidelity for sure is non-PFOF.
Thoughts on Vanguard?
Thoughts on Vanguard?
They don't have PFOF, right? It's straight to New York Stock Exchange, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not 100% sure. I've never used Vanguard, so I'll have to check.
And then the Public, if you just want like a kind of like a friendly app on your phone, that's a good one.
I do believe Public is non-PFOF. I think Matt Kors has been talking about Public for a while.
Yeah. I have Vanguard myself. And for the life of me,
AMC is running. I just have to interrupt and say that really quick.
Ooh, boy.
When I put my orders in, it goes through, and it says NYSE at the bottom. I'm not super familiar with all of it, but I'm 99% sure it's not PFOF.
I'm sure my post will have at least 5 or 6 man, I just lost every word in the dictionary.
Hey, did you see Spider-Man took over Avatar?
Are you serious?
Yeah,
They break 2 billion.
it broke it right before the interview. Market Rebellions tweeted about it that Spider-Man broke it.
Another prediction that I got correct, Gordon.
Did it break the global or just the domestic? Do you know?
Box office.
I'll check right
I'll
now.
try
All right,
to.
you got it?
Okay.
Third highest grossing movie at domestic box office.
So local. Yeah, domestic. That's cool, though.
That's hot.
Is anybody Charles Schwab does payment for order flow?
I think they do, and they also restricted buying of AMC and GME and the other meme stocks because I was using Charles Schwab, and as soon as I got somebody on the phone, I unleashed so many fucking curse words at that broker. I cannot tell you the rage that I felt and released on January 28th. I waited for 4 hours to get somebody on the phone, and immediately I was like, what the fuck are you doing? It was wild.
That being said, I will say on Charles Schwab, if you use their Street, I don't know if to say it's Street Smart or whatever their platform, their downloadable platform is, you can direct trades to lit exchanges on there, but they do make money on PFOF. So
I'm just going to suggest Fidelity. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it, Fidelity. So they have a great app. I think it's pretty easy to use. It's non-PFOF. It goes straight to the lit exchange. I've had no issues with it, with my experience with it so far. So I would highly suggest that.
The fact that they modified their platform to fit the kind of feel of the ease of Robinhood too for its users. I know some other people have some things came out about Fidelity a little while back, but every single thing we do has some kind of conspiracy wrapped up around it. But I've personally really enjoyed Fidelity, and I'll tell you, getting somebody on the phone there is easy. Maybe a 5-minute wait, maybe. That's just routing.
So now that I've already bought my shares on AMC with Charles Schwab, should I get them out of there for when I sell them? Because are they going to do the?
I would recommend using a couple different brokers. I keep what shares you got in Schwab for now instead of going through it, and just start buying new shares on Fidelity.
No one here can really give advice either, so you have to be careful about it because if anything were to happen, but at the end of the day, I think most people would do a transfer if they were gonna do anything rather than selling and then putting their money elsewhere or on a different brokerage. So transfer is what I've heard is the best method.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
I've actually I don't know if Moo is or not, but I bought some shares on there. I'm keeping a couple shares here and there on different brokerages in case we run into the issues that we did last time. I don't think it'll happen again, but I want the option to be able to sell shares at certain points and have more flexibility to do so in case something locks up on Fidelity or whatever. Who knows what's really going to happen though. Just do what you think you need to do to get to where you need to be. So, I'm not doing hands.
We're at 1942. I'm just letting you guys know, and there's a big boom candle. It's beautiful. I don't know if anyone's watching the chart right now, but it's pretty exciting.
We're almost 10% for the day. That's hot.
I just threw my hands up because someone else has got their hands up, and I think Fuyu was up. He wanted. Pardon if I'm not saying it right. I'm sorry. And he has a question. I'd like to talk about the questions that I'm sorry Yari asked me about after that question.
Yeah, after we're done celebrating the chart, how about that, Paul? Then I'll
yeah, okay. That's all good. That's all good.
It's Fuyu Suki Kage. Just so everybody knows, it's Fuyu Suki Kage.
I'm just going to stick with Fuyu. That's easier. Fuyu.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, first off, I think public, although they don't take PFOF,
but their orders are cleared by Apex. And as we know, Apex, Webull, they're technically PFOF. Also, Mumu also doesn't take PFOF, but I think they are cleared by interactive brokers. And also, a lot of these other brokers like Fidelity and TD or Thinkorswim, their base account may not be lit exchange, meaning that you have to manually request that you set up account to have your orders be able to go to a lit exchange.
So
Yeah, that's how it is on Fidelity as well. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Fidelity, all you have to do is go into your settings and change share routing or manual share routing. It's like a one button click, and then every time you buy, then it'll pop up and ask you which exchange you want to buy on. So
Yeah, it's super easy. You just tap on it and then you're set. You don't have to ever tap on it again, or for each order, you just one time and you're good.
did somebody kick him out?
Where did he go?
Nope. He probably dropped. I don't know. Didn't.
1951.
Let's go, baby. That's freaking awesome.
Let's go. It's looking good, guys.
We're gonna rip right at the end here. MACD looks perfect for another jump. I said 20 earlier in the YouTube chat. Oh boy. I didn't have like a really amazing lineup of things to talk about other than Gary Gensler and stuff. And I think Spider-Man news is great. Batman, they said, is already contending, or is the only thing to contend with Spider-Man for an opening week. So that's really good. Ticket sales are through the freaking roof right now.
I just put up a poll if everyone doesn't mind going and voting on it, just saying, should Gary Gensler suspend dark pool trading? So if you guys want to go vote and retweet it so we can maximize it, I pinned it to the top of the call. Just would love to see him see like a massive number of people voting on a poll like that and have to kind of speak on it or at least be faced with it.
You should do a poll. Says, should Liz Claman and Charles Gasparino stop talking about XRP? It's so boring.
The answer is yes. Nobody cares. No. That's what's so tough is it seems like people, in the mainstream or whatever get to kind of, I don't know, they can sort of make things go whatever. They can just paint a narrative and paint a picture. And I don't know, it made it feel like, oh, this is such a big deal, crypto and all of this. And then at the very end, oh, we're just going to throw in this one question that's already been answered multiple times in multiple places. And Gary just basically said the same thing he's already said. So it's super frustrating to, I don't know, to watch that play out. It just felt like very catered toward what the story that Liz Claman and Gasparino have been working on for, I don't know, years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his pinned tweet is just the XRP lawsuit, and it's literally the most boring thing I've ever. I mean, cool if you're an XRP fan, whatever, good for you. But it's just they're in a lawsuit and there's some weird shit going on, and that's it. Meanwhile, we have one of the most corrupt markets in modern history with 60 people under investigation by the DOJ, subpoenas issued by the SEC, and Goldman Sachs and what's the other one? I lost it again. My memory. Morgan Stanley are literally under investigation right now for front-running block trades in the dark pool. So XRP is like, it's like nothing literally right now to me.
So yesterday, I just have to tell you this story of this short seller guy who admitted that he was short. He's pretty transparent about everything. He admitted that he was down
50,000 on AMC at one point, and then because the stock price dropped, he was down 25,000. I hadn't talked to him for a while since we were sitting around, I think 15 or 14 per share, and then yesterday he messages me and says, yeah, like, when are you going to help your followers and let them know, like, that, this is dead and they need to sell and all of this. And I'm just laughing, like, what do you mean? I said, we're up 25% last week. So your recommendation is that people sell. Now I'm going to message him right now and say, we're up 10% on the day. Do you still stand by your statements yesterday that I should be telling people to sell their shares of AMC? Like, what do these people just think I'm a complete, like, they must just, their idea of who I am versus who I am just makes me laugh, in the underestimation that they think, like, oh, he's an attractive looking guy, he has a nice car and blah, blah, blah. And he lets me know all about it. And I guess he thinks that he can flaunt and sort of win me over, and then I'm going to help his short position on AMC. But I just think it's quite hilarious. Anyway, I just wanted to share that story with you, seeing that AMC's up 10%. And it's a celebratory moment, that's for sure. I'm so glad I didn't help anybody, air quotes, help anybody here and tell you to sell your AMC at 14 as we're heading right
That's
back to
ridiculous.
20.
What a douche, that guy.
Jen, do you use Bluetooth headphones? Or
No, I don't.
I don't know why when you unmute, I can hear myself talking. It is so bizarre.
I have my Bluetooth on, but I don't have any Bluetooth headphones connected to it or anything.
That's so
I'm
weird.
just using the speaker on my phone. So, I mean, I could turn off Bluetooth and see if that, maybe if I do that and see if it kind of helps. I'll give that a try.
She just wants to hear you cuss again.
Tara has never told me to buy AMC shares since I've been on Twitter. Not one time. So I don't get what these guys are coming at. Like, you're literally just here sharing information and creating community.
Hey, Tara, do I sound better? Tara, is she there?
She get rug pulled.
We lost her.
AMC is going to close pretty sexy today. I'm hoping for one more quick jump. What do we got left? What time is it?
Yeah, it's looking nice and pretty.
12 minutes.
Mom, baby, touch 20.
You know, it's looking really pretty.
What's
My
that?
Virgin Galactic. So happy today. AMC and Space. And Virgin Galactic was one of the heavily shorted companies back that Charles Payne talked about on that spot that Tara really likes. We play every time. I'm watching minute by minute now.
Yeah, this is like super exciting.
Happy Taco Tuesday, everybody. I can't wait to cook some tacos later.
Are you really? You're gonna go get some tacos later, Spence?
I'm gonna cook them. Yeah, Tara got booted.
Yeah, she did.
I'm looking at the borrow fee. It's at 0.7, so it's staying around there, 0.7, 0.8. And a lot of right now in the money calls are almost it's like 38K, and then puts in the money it's 34K. So yeah, it's very close. They're probably gonna, they usually like try to short it to get more puts in the money, but who knows?
Overstock pulled a 5.5 today too. Just perfect day.
Game is up 8%, a little over 8% right now. So it's running too.
Ooh, baby, come on. Well, I mean, that was interesting. Kind of a nothing burger from Claman Countdown, unfortunately. But anytime Gary Gensler talks about dark pools and PFOF, I'm all on board. The VA keeps calling me 5 times a day asking me if I got my flu shot. I will literally die if I get a flu shot, and they keep trying to give me one. It's freaking crazy. Yeah, Terragat.
Are you allergic or something?
I got one when I was in AIT in 2004, and apparently it's some kind of egg allergy or something. So I got my flu shot, and I ended up quarantined in a building for 2 weeks, just laying on a plastic mattress, just wondering if I was gonna die or not. It freaking sucked. There was quite a few of us. I don't know. I don't know if that was actually a flu shot or not, though, because it was the military. So who knows what they gave us?
Yeah,
But
not medical advice or financial advice or any advice, but they do have an alternative flu shot that is not egg based.
yeah,
if you
I know they're talking about using plants now for that, but I haven't had a flu shot in 20 years, and I have not had the flu in 20 years. So
yeah, you're probably good, man.
I'm immortal.
I get it only because I got little kids.
Yeah.
But I never used to ever get the flu shot. But I will say, since getting the flu shot, just since we're on the topic, I have less colds. Not really ever get the flu, but I have less colds in the winter, if that makes sense.
I just get the flu shot like once a year when I get my physical. So
yeah, I'm not anti-vax or
I've never
anything.
had any reactions to it. I've never had side effects. It's just, maybe a little bit of a sore arm. But normally I'm fine. So
1947.
It looks like Clarence joined again. I wonder if he heard anything that your Gensler said.
I'm not going to go too long on the call today, guys. Probably 2:30 because I think we covered so much last night, and I got to kind of reset for Thursday to do Sugar's thing, which I hope everybody comes to. It's just going to basically be him, explaining what he went through, his life, coming to America, getting into AMC, all that good stuff. So I think it'll be pretty fun. But
yeah, I'm excited for that. You said Thursday. Do you know what time?
6:30 Eastern time.
6:30 Eastern. Okay, I'll make note of that.
What a day, though! Freaking 10% on AMC. GME ran 6 to 8%. Whoa, what was that? GME just had a big fat green candle kick it back up right at after hours. Gary Gensler's on payment for order flow and dark pools, which is good. I think he's really bullish on retail now. I think the BSTX exchange has a lot to do with it. I think he's really excited for it. This is one of his main focuses for a long time. And remember too that the blockchain exchanges are going to bring a lot of new companies to the market that will be able to trade and get in on early. Like, it won't just be the big guys that are able to buy these small companies starting up. We're going to have a better opportunity to get into companies like, say, somebody comes out with a arc reactor, right? You're going to be able, if they list, you're going to be able to try to get in on this a lot easier. So, ooh, AMC just had a big pop after hours too. What is going on? Does anybody know what the hell happened yesterday with after hours with the price discrepancies?
I was just about to ask you that. I was like, what? I've never seen that happen before. It was like 50-cent like swings, right?
Yeah.
No, it's like
I've
a
never
full
seen that.
dollar
I have no
saw.
idea.
It was crazy.
We just
did anyone check any other stocks when that was happening? Because I know it was like, for me, it was all people were talking was AMC, but I was just wondering if it was happening to any other stocks too.
Check this out. Virgin Galactic just jumped identically with AMC after hours, almost identically. These stocks that they heavily shorted, that they're stuck in, Virgin has 21% SI too with a smaller float. But AMC, GME, Virgin, BBIG, all these stocks that these guys are stuck in always have just like this funky price action together. Like, it's wild.
Right, like the charts like almost all look identical. It's crazy. Especially
The
it seems to me,
algorithm.
it's nuts. Yeah.
Paul, I'm going to check real quick about any other stock that was doing anything weird.
The reason why I ask is, who knows really what it is, but I was talking to someone else about it, and I was saying, well, who knows? Maybe they were doing some kind of system checks, or they were anticipating a big run up today and how they could fend it off. And if they were doing it with other stocks that aren't shorted as much, then it could be just a system check or something. And if not, well, maybe it was a way for them to try to suppress the price at opening today. I don't know. I was just hypothesizing.
Yeah, possibly. I know it's been a great freaking day today. I kind of almost hate when we have a really good day. I mean, I don't, but the next day I'm sitting there like I'm expecting another good day, and it's just like, but you guys, the fundamentals of AMC have improved so much, and it seems like Gary Gensler, Adam Aaron, all these guys are extremely vocal now on exactly what we've been talking about. Somebody came out and gave them the go ahead to take care of business, man. I think before everybody was tiptoeing because they didn't know it was going to go down, especially with the DOJ investigations. But now you got Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs on the news, under investigation, subpoenaed. It's a big deal. It's hard to be super excited about it because we've known about this the whole time, though.
No, but it is a big deal, and I think the narrative is starting to change towards us, to the positive, like because of what we know. But I think once this shit is hitting the fan like it is, that's when the narrative starts changing, and they're like, yeah, they're heavily shorted. POF is bad. Dark pools are terrible. We need to get on it. But none of this stuff, in my opinion, would ever have happened if it wasn't for us and everyone in this call. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's every single one of you that made this happen. If we didn't speak up, if we weren't investigating and digging and bringing the information forward, none of this would have been happening today. That's just my opinion.
AMC and GME would be out of business.
Absolutely, man.
This not only did everybody help save American companies and jobs, but part of our culture is movies and gaming, man. That's just part of America. And now we're sitting here with a fundamentally strong company getting ready to blast earnings out for the next 4 quarters. And I'm telling you, if you guys haven't really dug into the Multiverse of Madness trailer and see what's really going on, this movie is going to absolutely blow the box office away, man. It's going to have so many references from so many cross universal, multiversal stances and different production companies and franchises. I'm so freaking excited about it.
One of the things that really bothered me about when they were trying to short the company to zero and close it up, I mean, movie theaters are usually the ideal place for people to have their children or young adults have their first job. It's their first paycheck, the first interaction with customer service, and it's these types of jobs that make productive. I don't want to say honest, but you know what I mean. Productive people going forward in the future. I mean, it defines people and what they do, and to get rid of all these student jobs and to kill a company.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like what do you like you guys have children, and some of them are young adults and starting to move into these type of roles.
My kid's 11, and the first thing she said, she goes, I kind of want to be a barista, or now she goes, I want to work at the theater. Which both places to me, I'm like, yeah, that sounds good because that's more of a better environment for young adults to start working in and learn services and professionalism. So,
well, the other thing too, I mean, because you mentioned like as far as like gaming and stuff like that, the other big news that's also happening too are like these like Sony when they bought Bungie. That's super big news. It's also going to be changing the gaming space as well as Microsoft buying. What did Microsoft buy again? Frick. But they're also buying up like these titles and properties type thing. Back when Disney bought Marvel, this is like it's gonna be a chain reaction. They're not gonna let the movie company die because because of that. There's gonna be so much more stuff that's happening with these as well, and spaces like AMC or like the theaters are exactly where these places need to be with that stuff.
Absolutely.
They're not going to invest billions of dollars to buy this name franchise just to do a DVD release type thing or to do streaming release only.
So think of this, you guys. Every conspiracy theory that has been labeled that way by the MSM that we've come up with, every theory we've made, it's now been proven correct and true. All these bad actors are under investigation. AMC is coming back to life with amazing fundamental progress. Earnings are going to blow through the roof. The price is coming back up. I mean, everything the community has done and said is correct. So if we keep on the track, and this is to all the other space calls, all the other people who don't come here, just keep doing what we're doing. Stay civil with each other. If you see another call, and I don't give a shit who talks about me, I don't care what they say, as long as they're trying to help AMC come to life, that's fine. I don't care if you like me or not. I'm hoping, though, everybody understands the importance of knowing who the bad actors in the community are at this point and not getting wrapped up with them, because I'm seeing a lot of people wanting to come back to these calls, which is really cool. Stay positive, keep coming up with good ideas. Like Clarence said, any new good idea that's in Adam Aaron's lap is just another bullet in the gun. You know what I mean? So hopefully in a couple days, I'll be able to give out a couple AMC gift cards. I'm waiting for the redemptions to be done. So, but I didn't have anything else on the agenda today to talk about. So I will probably end the call a little early. Hope that doesn't disappoint anybody. I hate spinning wheels on the same old stuff, but you guys feel free to go start your own calls and have different conversations, please, because you might learn something in another call and bring it back here, and then I'll learn something. So
I agree with that, Spence. There's nothing wrong with, checking out other calls, even if it's not on AMC. Could be just on like NFTs. If you're curious about NFTs, you want to learn more. There's different types of space calls. Go check them out. It doesn't hurt, does not hurt it. So
anything you can learn about blockchain, NFTs, and crypto right now is going to help you considerably down the road, because we're going to a market that's going to be completely run by blockchain eventually. So get in early, you guys. This is like getting in on Google when it was $1, you know what I mean? Or whatever price it started at. So I'm personally, I'm getting in on this blockchain exchange stuff. That's my long-term investment. Now that AMC is looking squeezy, I can't call it long-term anymore. So I'm pretty excited, but hope everybody has a good one, man. Paul, stay safe up there in Canada, and hope everything works out good for you guys up there, man.
I love how you called it. That's awesome, buddy.
It's a Michigan thing.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good.